posting this on a Monday morning because I just didn't have the energy to do the show on Sunday when I got back from Newcastle. It was a long weekend, fantastic weekend. The actual support that West Ham take to the away games is second to none. Absolutely superb, and I commend the West Ham fans yet again for travelling the length of this country to support our team. And in a few weeks' time, we're going to be doing Europe as well. Manchester away in the midweek again in the cup, and then the following week it's going to be an away tour somewhere in Europe. Commendable, absolutely commendable. And the fans at Newcastle outsung the Geordies at their own stadium. It was just tremendous. So my apologies for not doing this. It should have gone out maybe Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, but I was just too knackered. Five things we learned, or five things that we kind of already knew against Newcastle, is what I'm going to cover today very briefly. First of all, we saw the goal that was disallowed, rightly so, in the first 30-odd seconds for Newcastle. The ball definitely did go out. But what about the goal that Callum Wilson scored? Uh, it looked to me, there's one player that keeps getting an awful lot of fouls against him, but never gets decisions going his way. And he never always complains. It goes down a lot these days, but doesn't always complain. And it's a surprise that no West Ham fan picked this up, because when the ball was kicked out from the goal kick, it went to Antonio. And it looked as if the defender, I think it was Fabian Schär, literally had his arms, like he was holding Antonio back, sort of pulling him back. And Antonio was trying to hold on to him in order to sort of stay up and get the ball. But that would normally be a foul in today's modern game. We know it almost is no longer a contact sport, but I just wonder. And I mean, they scored the goal straight from that. Schär got the ball and it went through a great sliding pass that split our defence. But I just wonder if those are the sorts of things we should be shouting about. And I question whether the goal should have stood. But anyway, it went in. But there you go. I mean, the first 2 minutes of the game probably wasn't the best, was it? Really, it was. We got caught really, really cold. Now, team spirit. When we go a goal down in the games this season, what we've seen in the past is if we go a goal down and we concede a goal or whatever, our resilience and team spirit always carried us up again and got back into the game, shrugged it off, etc. And this is the one thing that we haven't been having so far this season, except for what I saw against Newcastle. Within the first few minutes, we could have really crumbled. We could have really just sort of like, I did actually. I think a lot of fans in the stadium got worried that this might become a bit of a cricket score, and I just wondered if we were going to pull back from that. But we did, and we showed the fighting spirit that we've had in past seasons, the past two seasons or so. Away from home, an early goal against Newcastle, it could have been easily turned into a bit of a disaster. But what I saw was a West Ham team that really had a lot of fighting spirit in it, and we're getting that back. And I think quite at a crucial time. There's a lot of fight in this team. We just we did what we were doing in previous seasons. We shrugged that off. We got ourselves composed, and we got ourselves back into the game. And I think it was great. It was great that we got ourselves in it, and we never really looked to be in any danger thereafter, which was really, really good. It was really good to see that. The next thing I want to sort of talk about is about ball possession. There's been an awful lot of talk from West Ham fans about other teams having a lot more of the ball than us, and it was going to hurt us. And when we come across a better team, a better passing team, etc., we were going to suffer for it and from it, and so on and so forth. And I get that. I understand that. And we look at our last three games against Everton. We only had 32% possession, and people were critical of that. And I get that. That was at home, and 32% possession at home is not a lot. But look at what Everton did. 5 shots, only 2 on target. West Ham, we had 11 shots with 4 on target, with only 32% possession. I know what people are saying. People are saying, well, Everton were really poor, a really desperately poor team, and, we should have been all over them, etc. But nonetheless, we made our possession count, despite it only being 32%. Against Derby in the FA Cup, we had 52% possession away from home. Derby with their possession, 11 shots, only 1 on target. West Ham, 8 shots with 5 on target. So again, we had more of the possession and we were making that possession count. And again, people will say, well, it's only against Derby, League One opposition. We should have been able to, spank them, etc., etc. But that's not how football's played these days, is it? And then against Newcastle, we went back. We had 38% possession away from home. But look again, even though we only had 38%, we had more shots than Newcastle did. They only had 1 on target. We only had 1 on. Sorry, they had 2 on target with the header at the end of the game, and we only had 1 on target. So when you see possession, I ask myself, I know it can be a dangerous game, but if possession counts only if you make the most of it. But it looks like the teams that we've been playing against, they may have more of the ball, and we may see that against Chelsea and against Spurs. I'm pretty certain that we'll have less possession against both those teams, but it's what they do with it. And I know people are going to say, well, Chelsea and Spurs are better than, are they better than Newcastle? Newcastle are what, 4th in the league? So I don't know. I think I get it. I get the whole thing about possession. But for me, it's what you do with the possession. And I think we've been good with our possession, even though we've not had a lot of the ball against Newcastle and against Everton. We made the most of it. Next up for me is the new players are finally beginning to deliver. Look, 3 of our new signings were carrying injuries, so we didn't get to see Cornet, Scamacca, or Areola. People speculated an awful lot. Areola's not on the bench again. He got injured, people. He got injured in warm-up, so that's why he wasn't playing. Many people accused Tilo Kehrer of being blamed for the goal that they scored. I don't blame Kehrer. Unfortunately, as much as I love Oggy, that ball that was played through was defence splitting, and it's really where Ogbonna was the centre of the 3 centre backs, and it's Ogbonna that should have kind of cut that out. He was a little bit far more advanced than he should have been, which gave Callum Wilson the opportunity to break into that gap. Kehrer was trying to catch up with him, but I certainly don't blame Kehrer. And even though Kehrer hasn't had a good time over the past few games, I still think he's going to probably come good. He was taken off, and a lot of people speculated again he was taken off at halftime because he was poor. That's not the reason why he was taken off. Unfortunately, he picked up a small injury as well, and we hope he gets better. I hope our injury crisis doesn't get any worse. Emerson on the left-hand side is settling in nicely, and he's beginning to deliver what I was hoping to see of Emerson, and I quite like now what I see of Emerson. He can be a bit of a threat. He drops back and he holds the defense when we're dropping to a back 5, and I like what I'm seeing of Emerson. I think he's doing an awful lot better for us lately. He's getting a run in the team, and deservedly so, and I'm enjoying seeing him. And of course, Lucas Paqueta. Well, he feels more at ease in West Ham United. He's turning out to be a bit of a class act, isn't he? Definitely plays like a lot of Brazilians do, with the flicks and the touches that you would expect. But you know what? He gets stuck in as well. That role he plays alongside Declan Rice, it suits him. We now see why he was playing better for Lyon when he was playing in a deeper role. And I know Moyes said a few things about we got him in as a number 10 to score goals and make assists. David Moyes, you should have done your due diligence, mate, because you must have known that he was a far better player playing in a deeper role. And he's superb. He's looking really, really good. And I like him. I like the arrogance and the flair, that the way he plays his football. But he's not a player that's afraid to get his foot in when he needs to. Class act. That goal he scored, he was in the right place at the right time. It was a tap in. So what? It doesn't matter whether it's a 40-yarder or a 5-yard tap in. It doesn't matter. But he's getting better. And I think Vladimir Sufal said in an interview, he described Paqueta as playing on Copacabana Beach. Well, Wembley, not Copacabana, but East London. Anyway, it was good, and it's good to see that the new players are beginning to settle in. As I said, Emerson is doing well. Paqueta is doing really well. Downs came on. He came on against. He played against Derby. He looked really good. Our players are beginning to pick. Our new players are beginning to pick up. We got injuries, few too many injuries with our new players. Cornet's apparently gone back to France, and we're a little bit confused as to what's happened there. Scamacca might be back for the Chelsea game. It's possible. Areola doesn't sound to be too serious, and hopefully he'll be back as well. And finally, Well, we don't have one world-class player anymore, do we? There's one player I haven't mentioned who's one of our new signings. We've got two world-class players now because Aguerd is a Rolls-Royce defender. Whenever you see him play, he gets better and better and better. Look, he's what we were hoping for. Many fans are saying he's now a Rolls-Royce of a defender. The way he commands the defense, his ability to communicate with authority, his organizational skills, his athleticism, his passing ability, he's really got it all. You know, and it's wonderful to see. And it's I think a lot of people are talking about him. We know Declan Rice is probably going to go in the summer, and there's speculation as to who might be captain. Surely he will be a shoo-in to be a captain at West Ham United. He'll be superb. And and for a lot of West Ham fans who always marvelled at the perfect tackling ability of Bobby Moore, especially against Pele in the 1970 World Cup. Look at the tackle he made against Callum Wilson. Now, no one's suggesting that Callum Wilson is anything like a Pele, but why can't Nayef Aguerd become one of the best defenders in Europe, in the world? Certainly a fantastic defender for West Ham, and long may it reign. Absolutely superb. Great ability, great skill, great tackling ability. He's really got it all. Look, there's still a lot to do. I know the results have been pretty good for us over the past few weeks, getting a few wins in the Cup, in the league, getting some draws, etc. We went to Newcastle expecting nothing, and we walked away with a point. And a lot of people are saying, yeah, but we're still only 1 point off the bottom three. I get that. I know that. I'm not stupid. I know there's still an awful long way to go. We've got to pick up. We've got to keep the momentum. But people were saying, you know, the games against Newcastle, Chelsea, and Spurs will be a marker for where we're at in the league, where we're at in the season. Well, 1 down, 2 to go. Am I saying that we're going to beat Chelsea or Spurs? I think we're going to put in good performances for both. So let's see what happens over the next 2 games. I'll be back with the West Ham Weekly on Monday night. Do look out for that. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like and subscribe button and the bell notification to let you know when I'm next on. I'm going to leave you with a few videos from Dodsey, who was also at the, well, he's everywhere, isn't he? Every game there is. See you all later.
So here we are as we arrive at Newcastle United. This is what you get to see when you arrive at the ground. They're pumped for it today. They genuinely think that they're going to win today. Big time. Big time. Big time. But at least we've got 1 or 2 West Ham here. We've got Alfie and we've got Vaughan. So here we go. Up the fucking mountain to the game. This is what you have to do. There's about 6,000 steps. Results haven't gone our way so far. As we get to kick off, we're about 15 minutes away. Team is predictable as ever. Ben Rama can't even get in the team. Can't even get in the team. And here they are, the Toon Army, on the march to Wembley. So here are the famous steps. We're currently 1/3 of the way up. And I'm actually fucked. But this is what you have to do if you want to see Newcastle. A few more videos to follow.